country that is peaceful and prosperous. But God allows us by our voting to show Him whether we mean the prayers we pray or not. You cannot wish this country well and vote for someone you do not believe in.
Hello and welcome once again to the Orators Diary podcast, your go-to podcast for public speaking tips, tricks, speeches, and of course, vibes. It is I once again, Zainab and Joshua with
Joshua Praise.
Yes, and today once again we're going to be talking about a political speech from the public speaker's perspective. Yes, today we're going to be talking about Vice President Yemi Osibanjo's speech, the one he delivered at the APC convention before your delegates. It's like, see, I want to be a delegate now. That's like my future ambition.
I told you, man.
Yeah, so before the delegates voted, how was the speech? What was it like? How did it make you feel? And all of that. That's what we're going to be discussing today. But before that, we want to acknowledge, some of the reviews that we got from you on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech. I'm sorry, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech. Yeah, we got a number of reviews from you, and some persons noted that we dived into the political sphere. Okay, so I don't know whether to apologize, but the thing is, if you're going to deliver a speech, then you have to take note of the context.
Yeah.
So your speech has to be appropriate to context. So when we talked about the context of the speech, we weren't really talking about the political dimension.
Yeah.
Not exactly. We're just saying that it was supposed to be appropriate to the audience.
Actually.
Do you get? So I don't know how anybody else might have interpreted that, but I needed to clear that. That's on the aside. That's aside. So yes, do you have anything you want to say about the reviews that we got?
No.
Yeah, so how was Vice President Vice President Yemi Osibanjo's speech, Joshua? How did it make you feel? How did that speech make you feel?
If I had the power to vote, I would vote him 1 billion times.
Amazing.
He won my heart with that speech.
Okay.
Like we said on the other episode, we said something like, we need a speech that gives us hope, that gives us that still makes us believe that there's something in this country.
Yeah.
And oh God.
Yeah, that speech was like
it just had everything.
It was like an Obama thing. When you put Barack Obama in a black man, was how I felt. Like I was really it was transcendental.
Actually, I was touched. In fact, to be very honest, I had goosebumps.
Amazing.
At some point, I had goosebumps like
amazing.
No. I wish these delegates could just listen to this and actually vote right. I'm not saying they didn't vote right. Yeah, actually, I'm not saying they didn't vote right. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, this man actually, I've won my heart. I don't want to know whether it was part of the failed administration, like some people claim.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that speech, it still made us, even though it was like maybe Lamba, or it came to Bobos, that just like we said, maybe it came to Bobos. I feel there were still hope. There were words of hope there. Like, okay, we can have an economic this. We can.
Yeah, those places are really amazing. Fundamentally, I feel like politicians are supposed to bobo us. Like they're supposed to paint it good. But then that speech to me didn't feel like boboing. Let's use your word. But I also feel like, okay, even if you are going to come into office and do something wrong or do something that we don't like or continue the way it has always been, let there be a measure of hope in what you're saying. But I feel like we're already diverting into the political angle. So what was like the first thing I noticed about the speech? Repetitions.
Come on.
Repetitions. Till today, I still love Mr. Mayowa Tijani because of his speech he delivered. And the use of repetitions just made that speech memorable. So when you use repetitions appropriately as a speech, as a speaker, I was going to say speecher. As a speaker, yes. it makes your speech memorable. It makes your audience remember you, and it
Yes.
drives home the content. It drives home the lessons. They will never forget. Do you get? So when you kept saying it is possible to do this, it is possible. I just felt like, oh my God, Nigeria is great. I felt like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to Japa again, but no, that's a lie. Yeah, so he used repetition to anchor his audience. You know, when they started, when he was called up on stage, you know, there was passions flying everywhere. Everybody was hailing him and all of that. But he needed to start because he had a number of time, some minutes to spend on stage. So he repeated his intro a number of times just to keep them quiet.
Yes.
And that's like very important as a public speaker. When you say something that makes sense, like,
that gives them
exactly. Yeah, so when you say something that makes sense, a lot of sense to the audience, and they clap, it is not in your place to continue. It is not for you to continue speaking, because the next things you say will be lost on your audience. They will not get it. They will not understand, and it has detracted from the value of your speech. Do you get? So when you say something and your audience clap, pause. You know, catch your breath. Let them clap. Let them clap for you or clap you in that instance. Then after they've calmed down, then you can continue. Basically, so that was how I saw he used repetitions.
You used it beautifully.
Very, very beautifully. Very, very beautifully.
Our dear delegates. Our dear delegates. I with our dear delegates.
Exactly.
And I was like, wow. Like it's just saying, like, I'm talking to you people now.
Like, yes, calm down. Let me
calm
talk.
down now. I'm talking to you
guys, that was how it was for me too. And then about the structure of his speech.
Come on.
Joshua, I want to say something about that. The speech was well structured. You mentioned that he went straight to the point.
Yes.
That was it for me.
Yes.
There was no need to beat about the bush. There was no need to tell us about your mother, like somebody did. There was no need to tell us where you came from. And we know all those things because Google you.
You know we wear slippers.
Exactly.
We don't have slippers before. We know. We know. He went straight to the point.
Exactly.
Okay, we had this. No, we have this in Inewi. We have this. We can develop this. He just went straight. Just giving me that point. Just dropping that fire from that. Just giving me that.
Exactly. That's how it felt.
It actually made a lot of sense. The fact that he just went straight to the point, and only to the fact. See, that kind of setting. I don't think there's need for all those
rigmarole.
I don't understand because
no need
just go straight to the point. Go straight.
And especially because, okay, so let's anchor this back to you as a public speaker. If you're a public speaker, you understand that you have a number of minutes to spend on the stage. Yes, you might be the guest speaker, but it's an event, and the event host has a job to do, and that's to watch you while you're doing your thing and make sure that you're not overusing time or you're not exceeding the time. So make sure that you plan, when you're planning your speech, plan according to time. If you have to deliver your speech in front of, let's say, your family, and then you have to use a stopwatch to time yourself, use it so that they won't start saying 5 more minutes.
Yeah, that's actually embarrassing.
The host will not start coming to the stage to give you a paper that, sir or ma, you have 2 more minutes left. No, you're not supposed to do that. As a public speaker, you have a number of minutes on the stage, so speak within your time.
Yes.
And then, yes, his speech was also appropriately detailed. He was calm. He was, I feel like he's a soft-spoken person. Yes, exactly. So he used the 4 P's. He used the pauses. He used the pace. And I loved his pace.
Yes.
He took his time. And I'm here to speak to you. You've got to listen to me. That was how his pace was. So he was calm. He used the speech, but I felt like there was not so much use of power. Maybe because he's a soft-spoken person.
Just maybe.
Yes, but even if you're a soft-spoken person, there are some times where you have to go high. You have to put a lot of energy into what you're saying, to drive home the point. So if you have to use power, then by all means, please use it.
Actually, and I feel his pauses were actually strategic, very strategic pauses. In fact, I can say it again. Very, very strategic.
Said you cannot wish this country well or this nation well and vote for someone you do not believe in. I was like, you have to.
It just gave me that.
Oh my God.
Man.
Yeah, so you have to just calm down, take it in, and then he repeated that line to tell you that this is the bone of contention.
Yes.
This is the main message I am driving to you. That was how it was for me. And then the logic, then the emotion. Oh my God. As a public speaker, you have to balance. Your speech has to be logical and it has to be appropriately emotional. The people you're speaking to are emotional beings. So you can't just be logical all the way. They probably would be bored and they would even sleep.
Actually.
Do you get? But he was appropriately logical and emotional in the sense that he roused the emotion of his audience. I felt like that was really, really good.
And
it made them feel.
I actually feel he knew the type of audience he was talking to.
Yeah.
He knew the type of audience he was talking to. He took that into cognizance also, and he did a very fantastic job as regards that. He was just giving them that fire from the beginning. Fire too.
If the delegates actually had a conscience, or if they have a conscience, I'm not saying they don't have, please don't look at me like that. I'm only saying if they do, they would have felt moved.
Actually.
Do you get? So I want to believe a number of delegates, if not all of the people that were listening, actually felt emotional, like, oh my God, this is so emotional. Because that was how I felt, like, oh my God, I wish Nigeria I would vote right. That was how it was for me, honestly. And I especially loved his voice variation. As a speaker, you have to be able to variate your pitch. You can't always be flat.
Yes.
So when he said it is possible to something like
it is possible that I see Zainab today. It is possible to see Zainab. It is. I was like,
it is possible. Well, that's like my own voice, but then he had the voice variation.
He went up, came down, went up.
It was like a crescendo. It was like you're listening to a piece of music and it's not just straight. Of course, if you're listening to a piece of music and it's straight, you get tired.
Yes.
So there were the highs, there were the lows, there were the flats.
So as a public speaker, you need to take into cognizance your voice variation, because there are some parts of your speech that if you need to go up, come on, take it up. If you need to be calm, maybe you want to deliver something very, very important, a very important part of your voice, just bring your voice down. Or something, maybe you're saying, would you believe that Nigeria has 50% of poverty rate?
Exactly.
In this country? Do you understand? So just your voice variation at times helps you to drive home your points. Drive home your points and let it sink into your audience.
And it also spices up your speech. You know when you cook jollof rice and spice in it. Exactly. Those ingredients, those condiments, it just makes your speech really spicy and tasty, basically. So yes, I feel like we've covered it all. Yeah, we talked about the repetition, the structure, the details, the emotional hooks. The emotional hooks.
The use
we talked
of
about
4Ps.
The 4Ps and of course
logic.
Yeah, the logic and the voice variation.
All right, we've reached the end of today's episode. This podcast has been brought to you by ABC Speak Academy. To learn more about public speaking, register. I repeat, register. For training at ABC Speak Academy, to register, contact Coach Empress on 0701 635 6886. You can also connect with us on Instagram at ABC_speak. And we would love you to remember that I can speak, you can speak, anybody can speak.